Hi, thanks for joining us at Little Olive Kindergarten Classroom. Today we're going to read an original story by Little Olive, and it's called The Anxious Reindeer. I hope you love it. The North Pole is a busy place. Elves work hard to build all the toys that get delivered on Christmas Eve. Santa keeps track of his master list and checks it twice every day. And the reindeer practice flying together constantly to keep fit. Santa has the best team of reindeer. How else could he make it around the world in one night? They were incredible. But one of Santa's finest, the one that lights the way, was retiring this year. And here's where our story begins. Santa knew that if Christmas were to happen, he would need a replacement for his best reindeer. He chose Phoebe. Phoebe was a tiny reindeer, not at all incredible by her own standards. And she had a pink nose that flickered on and off when she got nervous. How would she ever be able to guide a sleigh? She was terrified. She had some big shoes to fill. The reindeer she would be replacing was a legend. They even wrote songs about him. How could she possibly take his place? There were only 2 weeks until Christmas, and Phoebe was sick with worry. She paced the floors of the barn as her nose flickered on and off like a broken light bulb. What was she going to do? The thought of letting Santa down made her tummy feel sick. She walked to Mrs. Claus's bakery to see if anyone there could give her advice. Everyone there was so sweet and kind and would surely know how to help her. She came across a happy gingerbread cookie. "Mr. Gingerbread, can you help me? I'm so worried that I'll let Santa down. What can I do?" she asked. The gingerbread thought about it for a little bit and finally said this: "Phoebe, when the time comes, you will rise to the occasion just like I did in the oven. You will not let Santa down. Believe in yourself." Then the sweet gingerbread gave Phoebe one of his gumdrop buttons to hold onto so she could remember his words. Phoebe took the gumdrop and carried on. Still worried, Phoebe decided to go walk in the snowfields. The snowmen there were so calm all the time. Maybe they could help her. She came across a happy snowman. "Mr. Snowman, can you help me? I'm so worried that I'll let Santa down. What can I do?" she asked. The snowman thought about it for a bit and finally said this: "When the time comes to guide the sleigh, just stay cool and calm. Take some breaths and you'll be great," he said. Then he pulled off one of his coal buttons to give to Phoebe. "If you get nervous, give this a squeeze, and remember what I said." On her way back to the barn, Phoebe passed the brightest Christmas tree she had ever seen. It was beautiful. If only she could shine as bright as the tree did. "Christmas tree, can you help me? I'm so worried that I'll let Santa down. What can I do?" she asked. The Christmas tree thought about it for a bit and finally said this: "When the time comes to guide Santa's sleigh, stand tall like me. Be proud of yourself and you will light the way." Then the Christmas tree pulled off one of its ornaments to give to Phoebe. The tree added, "If you feel nervous, just look at this ornament and remember what I told you." Phoebe left the tree with her antlers now full of all the wonderful things that were given to her tonight. She had a gumdrop from the gingerbread cookie, a coal button from the snowman, and a beautiful ornament from the tree. On her way home to the barn, one of the elves saw her and called her into the workshop where all the toys were built. Elves were experts in building and creating. The elves took one look at Phoebe's antlers, full of all the gifts she was given. Then they noticed her worried face, and they got to work. They took the gumdrop, the coal button, and the ornament from Phoebe and constructed a special necklace just for her. This way, she could wear it wherever she flew and remember what she was told. They put the necklace on Phoebe, and she wore it happily. Christmas Eve was here, and it was time to make Christmas happen. The North Pole was buzzing with excitement. Santa was checking his list one last time. The elves were loading the sleigh, and the reindeer were getting hitched up. Santa called Phoebe forward and hitched her to the front of the team. Poor Phoebe was so nervous. Her nose flickered on and off. She felt like she could faint. Then Santa got in his sleigh and called each reindeer by name. Phoebe knew it was almost time to fly. She looked down at her necklace. The gumdrop reminded her that she will rise to the occasion. The gingerbread cookie believed that, and he was one smart cookie. She started to believe she could. Then she looked at the cold button and remembered to be cool and take deep breaths like the snowman said. Phoebe took a deep breath in and blew it out. She was starting to feel better. Her nose was flickering a little less now. Then she looked at the ornament and remembered to stand tall like the Christmas tree. She stretched up and made herself as tall as she could and began to fill with pride. Her nose was shining so bright now, brighter than ever, and when Santa called the last reindeer's name, Phoebe took off in a flash. She zipped through the sky like a bolt of lightning, faster than anyone, and the other reindeer did their best to keep up. She was doing it. That night, all the presents got delivered in record time. The other reindeer were exhausted when they got back to the North Pole, but not Phoebe. She was so happy and so proud of the job she did. "Santa," Phoebe called out. "How did you know I could do it?" Phoebe asked. Santa looked at Phoebe and smiled. With a curious wink, he told her, "I didn't, Phoebe. You did." Well, that's the end of our story. Thank you so much for listening. We'd like to give credit to all the wonderful artists that created the clip art that helped illustrate our book. And if you like The Anxious Reindeer, please go ahead to Little Olive on Teachers Pay Teachers and download it for free. Thanks for stopping in.